We back, baby. We live, baby. Man, we live. Man, cut off again. Yo. Check, 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 internet. Man, it's tough out here, man. Don't know what's going on. Everything, all the settings are right. I'm fighting for my life out here, man. I'm fighting for my life. TikTok, y'all hear me, right? Reconnection successful. Do we have a successful reconnect? Man, just stop the flow. The last thing I was going to talk about was Brazil anyway, but man, the stream is, the flow is not flowing. I don't know what's going. I got the settings right. I'm dialed in. Blueface, baby. I don't know why I'm so turned this morning. Mic is too low. Check, check, check. It's better. Yo, man, Bruce, every day, like recently, we've just been having some technical glitches. Not sure what it is, but we're still here. Still trying to talk a little footy. Let's go. CBR. Check, check, check. Y'all getting me? It seems like y'all getting me. We here. Bruce, let me know if we're not here, man, but it seems like you the only one who hopped back on. I'm only going to be here on a couple another seconds, man, because internet, man, just blowing me. Just killing the vibe. Oh, it says Brazil versus... It says Brazil versus Chile watch party. Nah, man. We're on Ball Around the World. Back to Brazil. Is this the worst Brazil team y'all have ever seen? That was the question. That's the question of the day. That's what we're talking about. Let me see what Brazil's lineup was. Brazil lined up against Chile. They had Rodrigo. Up top, they had Botafogo's Igor Jesus, who scored a goal. Good goal, too. Little Dragon Ball Z celebration. Bruce, we back. Yes, okay. Rodrigo, Savinho, the Man City young boy who looks good so far. Bruce says Brazil is washed. Big facts. Well, no, I guess that's the question. I'm saying big facts, but I'm answering the question before I ask the question. Rafinha, Lucas Paqueta in the middle with Andre from the Wolves, Wolverhampton. They got Abner in the back, who I've never heard of. He plays for Lyon. They got Gabriel Margalese, who, one of the best center backs in the world. Next to Marquinhos, who should be one of the best center backs in the world at this point, but just don't quite know with Marquinhos, right? Like, he's been on PSG for as long as we can remember. All of that. Only Brazilians are Rodrigo and Martinelli. Bro, Martinelli came off the bench and he dropped another stinker. I don't know if Martinelli even gets on this. Only Brazilians are Rodrigo and Vinny, to be honest. Danilo, who was the captain? I think Danilo was the captain again. Me and a friend talked about that the other day, and it's just like, is Danilo a captain? Is Danilo worth all that? I mean, this back line seems okay. With Ederson, you got Gabriel, Marquinhos, Danilo, and Abner. I don't know, man. Like, this doesn't seem like that threatening Brazil lineup. And obviously, we're watching them in the CONMEBOL, and they did beat Chile, but didn't do shit in the Copa America. Don't really know. Like, back in the day, you could name the Brazil lineup, start for like front to back, with Roberto Carlos, Lucio, Zé Roberto, Ronaldinho, Ronaldo, Rivaldo, like all of these guys. You can't name it. Marquinhos should be the captain, Bruce. I agree with you. I don't understand what all of this is about, but this does not look good. Bruno Guimaraes came off the bench into the midfield, who is a good player, but is he one of the best Brazilian midfielders out there right now? Like, another player, Luis Henrique. I'm trying to do the Brazilian spelling, and my boy My boy from Sao Paulo, Sir Excellence, is not in the chat today, but Henrique is maybe how they say it. He balled out. He scored the game winner. Endrick came on in the 76th minute. I don't know why Endrick's not starting in a lineup like this. Again, like teams are starting a bunch of midfielders rather than pure strikers. Yeah, and Gabriel Martinelli came in at the 85th minute, didn't really do much. I don't know, man. Like Alisson Becker is constantly hurt. When Vinny is out, it's even more apparent, right? Like if we didn't know already with Neymar being out and Brazil's form dropping to an all-time low, which I mean we can try to qualify that too. When did Neymar's last game for Brazil? Let's see what it was. Neymar's last appearance for Brazil came against Uruguay back in October 2023. Brazil lost that match 2-0. So, I mean, Brazil did lose with him. But, all right, October 2023. I'm going back in Brazil's matches. Uruguay. They played Uruguay. Neymar played that game. That was a World Cup qualification game. And Neymar played with Vinicius, Rodrigo, Jesus, Guimaraes, Casemiro. That seems like a much better team. So they lost that game. Prior to that loss, they tied Venezuela. They beat Peru. They smacked Bolivia. Lost 4-2 to Senegal and beat Guinea. So it was already looking ugly, and that was coming off the World Cup performance, right? I think Neymar kind of gassed out after the World Cup performance because prior to the World Cup performance, they beat Paraguay 4-0. They beat Chile 4-0. They beat Bolivia 4-0. They beat South Korea 5-1. They beat Japan 1-0. Then they went into friendlies before the World Cup, beat Ghana 3-0. Tunisia 5-1. FIFA World Cup beat Serbia 2-0. Beat Switzerland 1-0. Lost to Cameroon. Remember that game. Then came back in the knockout stages, in the knockout stages, smacked the pants off of South Korea 4-1. Then that Croatian game, that was the tough one. Bruce says Endrick is actually a good player. It's just funny to make fun of him. Yeah, but he's decent. I agree. Dog, Endrick has passed the test for me, for sure. Like, Endrick passes the eye test. He's not your typical Brazilian. It doesn't seem like he's as interested in getting touches on the ball and dribbling as much as he's interested in making great runs. He's, again, for an 18-year-old kid, he makes like such smart runs. He's so confident. He believes so much in himself, which is like a very good baller trait. And he shoots. Like, he can shoot. Left foot, right foot, doesn't matter. He's putting the ball on target. Those are traits you want. That's a striker. I don't know why he's not starting, especially in this kind of like lesser than Brazil team. So obviously I named all the dubs they got in the World Cup and through. Neymar's last game again was 2023 against Uruguay. Oh, that's 2021. Where's 2023 against Uruguay after the World Cup? It was in October 23. So I'm just going to count how many dubs they have post Neymar on this squad. That's really the point of this whole thing. October 17, 2023. Without Neymar, they lost to Colombia 2-1, which, you know, Colombia's been balling. They lost to Argentina 1-0. They beat England 1-0. That was the game Endrick scored, that friendly earlier this year. They tied Spain 3-3. Endrick scored in that too. Barely got him across the line. They beat Mexico 3-2, but that's, I mean, come on, it's Mexico, right? Tied USA, and that's when everybody really had some things to say, because Brazil should not be tying the U.S. I'm gonna touch on the U.S. at the end of this. That's the very last thing I'm gonna talk about. Bruce says Ronaldo mentality. Definitely, he's at least decent. Definitely, I agree with you. I think he's got that, like, I'm gonna take it. I think Ronaldo had more flair. Like, I mean, people say this, and I still agree to this day, because Ronaldo is one of my OG idols. But Ronaldo phenomenal without injuries is something that we've never seen in the world of football. Like, he's one of one. Scoring, speed, skills, everything, confidence. But we move. We keep going. Brazil then did pretty well. After they tied U.S. and everybody was worried, they tied Costa Rica, which was also worrying. Then bounced back in Copa America, beat Paraguay, tied Colombia, and ended up losing to Uruguay in penalties in the knockout stages, right? So ever since then, they beat Ecuador, they lost to Paraguay, and they just barely beat Chile. Is this the worst Brazil side we've ever seen? We're going to have to see. This is probably one of the worst Brazil teams I've seen, for sure, in a long time. Again, this y'all got to respect Neymar and the things he's done to keep Brazil afloat since, for the last decade. And now Neymar's out and Brazil looking almost perilous danger. So we're going to have to see. Bruce says he's got to check out in a minute, so I'm going to check out with you, bro. Last thing I want to talk about, game of the week. I'm not going to be able to do a live stream for it, but the U.S. play this weekend against Paraguay tomorrow, Saturday. And it's our first look at the kind of Pochettino side. I did a watch party earlier this the last international break, but forgot that Poch hadn't signed on yet. Poch is officially on. They're in training camp with him, so we're going to have to see. Someone we forgot in the top 10 CMs discussion is Gattuso. Very interesting, but Gattuso gets easily canceled out to me by N'Golo Kante. Honestly, it was Makelele who was in my top 10, and then I feel like N'Golo Kante is the upgraded Makelele, and I think Kante brings Gattuso and Makelele together. Actually, no, Gattuso's the tackler. Makelele is the tackler and passes. Kante tackles, passes, is up and down the field. So I'm in that realm with you, Bruce. Let's see. Anything else for the day? Oh, U.S., right? So we're going to see U.S. Oh, boy. Brownouts, man. Brownouts. That's what these are. We're getting internet hits. All right. I think from this, it's time to tap on out because y'all have heard enough of me talk, and that's all we have to say about all this. And it's going to be disjointed on YouTube. But if you want to watch back and come talk and join the conversation, come tap in with us. YouTube.com/@EatPrayBall. Stream is hella laggy. You're right, Bruce.